Hi everyone, my name is Giovanna Proença and I am the instructor of Doors Coding School. You're probably watching this video because you just completed our quiz and now it's time to see your result. So as you can see here in my screen, you were graded as a beginner programmer, and that's amazing because you're starting to learn how to code. And this guide here will give you all the steps you should follow, the courses we recommend, the exercises you should take, and actually at the end of this guide we will also tell you what projects you should use to put in your portfolio and apply for a job. So this is a complete guide of where you should start until you find a job. Okay, so from our quiz we were able to notice that you know a little bit about variables and functions, right? We're talking here about Python, but this works for any other language. We notice you know the basic concepts of programming, but now I wanted to get deeper inside of what you can learn and be a developer. So I'm gonna explain you what courses you should take to learn the fundamentals of programming, so all the tools you need as a programmer. Then a course that will tell you the initial concepts of web development, and finally you're gonna become a full stack developer. This is the job title you can get by the end of the courses we're gonna suggest. All right, so well, what courses you should take? From where you are right now, we highly recommend you starting at CS50 Python. This course is a course made from Harvard, as you can see here in the screen. All right, this is exactly the same course they take at Harvard, but now they also release this as an online version where everyone can take, and the good part, it's free. The reason why we recommend this course is because this is a Harvard course, so this is something that we can notice that is really good. But besides that, they will teach you all the fundamentals of programming. So here you can see a little bit about the syllabus. You will learn more about functions and variables, conditionals, loops, exceptions, libraries, other things that are needed in this world of programming, okay? Besides that, this course is really good because besides being well structured, it has many exercises for you to practice. So you're at every week here, as you can see in my screen, at every week you're gonna have to do at least 4 exercises that will be challenging, but they will kind of test if you have enough knowledge for this concept and will be kind of a proof that you can move on with the course. So those exercises are hard and they are a really good threshold to tell us if you're able to move on, if you're comfortable with the concept, all right? And besides that, not only the practical projects, but also the reason that it is hard. So in programming, you only learn if you're doing exercises. There is no other way to learn how to code, like watching a video or watching someone explaining to you what you should do. You have to actually face the problems and deal with the frustration of understanding all the steps you need to follow, what tools you have to use, and how can you accomplish solving that. So this is really good about this course. All right, so as we can see in here, this is a little bit the curriculum as I mentioned. So you should start at CS50 Python and you're gonna get your certificate by the end of that, right? Then you should take the second half of CS50, which is another course from Harvard. And here you don't need to do the whole course, all right? Because those initial weeks here, we are gonna already do in CS50 Python. For this course, you just need to do weeks 7, 8, and 9, because those 3 weeks will focus on teaching you how can you manipulate a database, so how can you grab data from a table and deal with that using code. Then you're gonna learn how to work with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which are the main languages that will help you build websites, the part that is visual. And finally, you're gonna learn Flask, which is a library from Python where you're able to manipulate a website behind the scenes. So let's suppose we're trying to sign in Instagram. So the logic of adding your username and your password and checking if it's correct or not, this is something we're gonna learn how to implement in Flask. And all the other things, all the other logic that is behind in a website. So this course is pretty good to teach you those initial concepts. And by the end of that, let me go back to my old screen, you're gonna have enough knowledge to start learning the more complex things in programming. At this point, you're gonna learn the fundamentals of programming, but you're not gonna have exactly the skill of a developer. So that's why we highly recommend you taking the last course, which is CS50 Web. For this course, you should do the whole program. So we're gonna start with HTML, CSS again, but now with more advanced concepts. Then we're gonna learn Django, which is the framework, the library from Python that is used in real-world jobs to work with the website behind the scenes, as I mentioned. And we're gonna learn other advanced tools that will allow you to actually work as a programmer. So by the end of this course, you can start applying for jobs and you're gonna have enough projects to display in your portfolio. All right, and again, the CS50 Web Programming is another course from Harvard, and you can see here the syllabus as well. Okay, so this is the structure that we plan, and this is something we're using with our students since DOORS started. And most of them, actually all of them, they did those courses and now they are working in their area. So most of them, they switched their career, they weren't in a programming background and now they are working in that area, or they started something new and now they are able to say that they are real programmers working in a company. Okay, but how they reach that, right? So as we mentioned, only doing those courses, you're gonna learn all the fundamentals and all the knowledge you need to start working. So now that you know all the courses you should do, let's talk about the portfolio. Okay, so as I mentioned, with CS50 Web, you're gonna be doing some practical projects. Among those projects, you're gonna be building your own Google, Wikipedia, and e-commerce. You're gonna clone Gmail, you're gonna create a social media like Twitter or the old X, and at the end, a final project of your choice. So this will be really good to display your experience, right, in those areas. But you could do as a regular programmer that just put those code on GitHub and share in your CV, but this won't make you stand out from the others. And that's why we highly recommend you displaying your portfolio like that. So you should record a video of yourself explaining the project and displaying this nice website in here, because think about the following. The first person that you're gonna have contact is someone from HR, and this person not necessarily know about anything about programming, right? So if you can explain yourself, explain your project and your experience to this person, you're gonna be one step ahead from the others. Not only because you're displaying your experience, but also because you're gonna show your communication skills, because another important part of being a programmer is not only coding, but actually explaining to others your thought on solving something. And if you have that, you're gonna be different from the others, okay? So why we say that? We do this with all of our students, this methodology that we're doing here, and all of them started working as developers. You can see our past students' LinkedIn or their testimony in our website, but now I wanna show you a short video about one of them telling us their experience with us.
I am Alex, and I just wanted to give a testimonial to the DOORS coding community. They helped me really get into coding, and it was something that I was interested in. However, I had no idea how to get into, so I contacted them, and I have to say that they were really nice. Giovanna was my teacher. She helped me every week through lessons, and that really helped me get through the technical side of coding. Also, I got good email support. Every week, if I had any troubles, I would just send a screenshot or possibly share my code with them, and then they would get right back to me, helping me through projects, such as projects for courses like Harvard CS50. And so that will really help me out. Not just technical, I guess I could say I also got a lot of emotional support. Coding can be a little bit frustrating, so they really made sure that the lessons we went through were tailored to the needs I had at the time. They would go at a pace to make sure that I could keep up. And so I just wanted to say, not just the technical side, but the emotional side, they really did an outstanding job. So I just wanted to recommend them, especially if you are interested in getting into the world of coding.
All right, so now that you saw the testimonial of our student, I want to tell you why you should use coding DOORS and not only the CS50 courses. So, well, I already mentioned that CS50 is really good. Their methodology, their structure is really well planned. They will teach you all the fundamentals, all the skills you need in order to become a programmer. But you will face, and you probably face if you already did CS50 before, that there are not enough exercises for you to practice. Usually the exercises, you have the lecture, you need to watch the lecture, and then there is a huge gap between the lecture and the problem sets they will ask you to do. And this can make you feel a little bit frustrated. And you can see that by the dropout rate of this statistic here from David Mellon, the professor of Harvard. So basically for the first week, they have several students, and then for the next week, it kind of cut half of the people kind of drop out the course, and then the statistics just show us that by the end of the day, very few people complete the course. There are several reasons for that, and I will show you the first one. The first one is because of this lack of exercises for you to practice, so that's why we created Coding Doors. Coding Doors is an online platform, it's free. You have several exercises, more than 500 exercises from different concepts, different aspects, and they all start from the easy level until the hard ones, so you can actually understand what's going on and getting step by step what you have to do, and then you're prepared to face the problem sets and also real world problems, okay? So let me show you a little bit how our platform works. As you can see here, this is the tree with the full curriculum that I just mentioned. It starts from the very first week of CS50 Python and it ends at the last week of CS50 Web. And for each circle you're seeing here, we have some exercises for you to do. So let's suppose we're working here with this first week. Here it's focusing only in functions and variables, so you have 20 exercises to play around. And it starts from this easy concept here, like returning the number 2. And let's suppose I return the number 1. If you run, we have tests being working here beneath the hood. And you have an AI tutor giving you suggestions of how you should solve your question, solve your problem if you have a bug in your code, or it will give you other suggestions if you pass all the tests. Besides that, you don't have only the AI tutor, but you have the theory here, you have some hints to solve the problem by yourself, and you have our own personal solution that fits exactly our expectations for students at this level of CS50 Python, for example. Okay, so this is pretty good because you can keep practicing multiple times until you're feeling comfortable and ready to move on for the next step of the course. All right. The second problem of CS50 is not only this lack of exercises to practice, but also the idea of not having someone to help you out. So those courses are free for us, they are available online, but if you try to do it by yourself, it can be very complicated. As I mentioned, the lecture is pretty good, Professor Mellon is amazing, but when it's time for us to face the problems, things are not the same, things are pretty complicated. So that's why we can also see here this dropout rate. If you have someone to ask, if you have someone to guide you through the problems, to give you the right path, you can speed up your learning process and move on with the course. So this is why we recommend having a mentor. Here at Doors Coding School, we offer the service of one-on-one tutoring, which will be you and our instructor working online via Zoom, or a bootcamp, which will be a group class, and then we're going to be working together. So it's online, you can fit your routine, you're going to have tutors with expertise that will help you within 24 hours. It's affordable compared to other schools, and you have this sense of accountability. So this is the most important part that CS50 doesn't cover. You're gonna have someone to ask for questions, to solve your bugs, to help you out, to teach you how you should think in order to solve the problems. And also, when you feel frustrated and demotivated, you have someone to keep you on track. So the sense of accountability is really hard when you're trying to learn by yourself. Besides that, at Doors, we have a huge community of people from around the world, so you can have a really nice network. And by doing all of those courses, we guarantee by learning with us that you're going to complete all the three CS50 courses I mentioned and earn your certificate. All right? So now that I mentioned all of that, let's think where we should start. So I already explained to you what courses you should take, what level you are, why you should use Coding Doors and have a mentor as well. So where you should start exactly? Well, as a beginner, you should start from the very beginning of our Coding Doors platform, okay? So you should start at week 0, functions and variable, and then you complete the whole tree and you're gonna succeed to learn how to code. So you should start at this circle here, functions and variables, all right? As you can see, our Coding Doors platform, it meets the same weeks of CS50. So for week 0, you should do those 3 circles here in purple, all right? They're already kind of integrated. This first one will teach about functions and variables, then you're gonna learn about strings, and finally, if you've seen here, there is the problem set. So we already put in our tree exactly the moment you should do the problem sets of CS50, okay? And then you can start right there. Once you do that, keep going with the course, and at the end, you're gonna succeed as a developer, all right? So, well, now we are at the end of this presentation. I hope I clarify all your questions and all your doubts about the path you should take, the resources you should use, and how can you apply for jobs. In the next days, we're gonna be sending you emails to teach you how can you do that. Everything I mentioned here in this video, we're gonna be explaining in more details for you in the emails. And well, if you have any question, you can reply to them, you can send me a message, or you can schedule a free meeting with us. All right? I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.